We're going to get you some more action.
Welcome back, folks. We have found another game, and you may recognize one, if not both, of these players from both previous tournaments and the very last series we just cast. So, without further ado, we are on Frost this time, spawning in the lower right-hand corner. You saw him take last series 2-1. It is IVD's The RoachKing. And his opponent, you may remember him from such incredible tournaments as the group stages of the Infinity Tournament League and beyond. It is Infinity Gaming's Ukko. We're going to stick with Ukko for now. Protoss player, Protoss something new and different. We haven't seen this. It looks a lot not like Zerg. But we can't bring you ZVZs the whole entire tournament because, you know, the world's not perfect. So ZVP is what we're going to be watching here for today. So, you know, players here in vertical spawns here. This will come into play in a bit in the mid-game and later game as we see players start to take their expansions. Obviously, this third expansion above RoachKing's base here gonna be a little bit more difficult to defend as it is on the attack path. However, the choice over here to the left, further away from your opponent, but does enable a little bit of drop harass to be possible with warp prisms and that sort of shenaniganry that Protoss players are fond of. So we'll be interested to see how that evolves. Ukko trying for the block here, 2 probes here, trapping or 1 probe, 2 drones. Sounds like some gross video that you don't want to watch. And finally, hatch goes down. No pylon block there. We have a forge fast expand on this side for Ukko. Overlord drifting over, scouting it. Overlord getting the advantage of having scouted in the right direction. Meanwhile, 1 drone poking around does not see an expansion up here, returns to base, and things have been scouted out.
It is
both players.
Fast Forge, so he probably went next first. I'm not a big fan of Fast Forge. I think it's a very weak build.
Well, we will let Ukko do what he wants to because the Masters, so we will do that. And RoachKing is a diamond, but we saw him taking out a Masters Zerg player last game, so obviously very adept at his craft of StarCraft. And this is what happens when I talk for too much in a row, because I start not really making sense. Nexus finishing up for Ukko here. Cannon on the way, or Cannon just finishing up, and a Gateway just finishing up as well. So pretty standard. We should see the Cybernetics core go down here momentarily. And there it is. So wall off complete. This looks like a pretty solid wall, would you say, Cube? I would say this is pretty solid as far as Protosses go.
Yeah, it's solid. It doesn't have a pylon in it, but the only downside to this wall is that it's only a 1 pylon powered.
Yep, we could see pylons added on back behind here later. So, I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. We're not seeing any early aggression out of RoachKing. He's just macroing up. Probably wants to be moving down. Yeah, so he's moving down to take a third here, opting to take it in the further away position. I think this is 100% the correct choice, given the spawn locations. So we will see as this evolves, but both players just macroing up here. So we're probably not going to see anything too crazy at the moment. Let's just take a quick bit of time here and go ahead and thank our sponsors here for Infinity Gaming. So, we'd like to thank Zeek.com, our tournament sponsor for this and all of our tournaments. You can find them at z33k.com, and we run all of our tournaments using them. And basically, they make everything, make it all possible for us to organize all this. Otherwise, it'd be completely unwieldy. So, big shout out to them. Thank you, Zeke, for providing that service to us and all of you. Our second sponsor is ggtracker.com. That's ggtracker.com. Yes, the name is the same as the URL. And it's a great site for uploading replays and tracking your StarCraft statistics. So, if you haven't already, go on there and check it out. It's a great tool to help improve your game on all levels. And our third and final sponsor is Internet. I'd like to thank them. They very recently volunteered to host our website on their servers for no charge. So thank you so much to Internet. We're very grateful for that and able to have our website now back up and running. If you want to check out the website, that is inf-gaming.com, or .net, sorry, inf-gaming.net. All right, so back in the game here, we see Warp Prism coming out, 3 more gateways being added on for Ukko, and +1 just finishing up. So we're going to see an attack relatively shortly, I would say. Is that correct, Cube? You're the Protoss expert.
This does look like he is gearing up for an Immortal All-In. It looks like it, but I cannot be too sure until he makes 2 Immortals.
I don't think this is an Immortal All-In, because we've seen a Warp Prism and then an Observer out of this Robo, and so if he was doing an Immortal All-In, I think we would see Immortals much faster out of that Robo. Warp Prism here has got 4 Zealots in it already. It's been warped in. Gonna see some drop harass here behind the natural mineral line, and 6 Roaches just about to finish here for RoachKing, but we will see if this is able to do any damage. Roaches running a little bit away, now moving into the rally. Gonna pull this Queen back. These Zealots getting picked up. We're unable to do too much damage here. Gonna see if they can snipe this Queen. And they managed to and picked up great little dropship micro there. None of those Zealots taking too much damage and able to snipe a Queen. So great little pickup there without too much investment, just slowing down. More sentries warping in back at home for Ukko. And players moving out and macroing up here. The third now is almost saturated for RoachKing, and Ukko taking a third of his own. So RoachKing's going to look to be a little bit of aggressive here, or take a fourth of his own. More Zealot harass here. Unfortunately, not too much anti-air, so going to have to just run these Roaches around underneath this Warp Prism to deal with this for the moment. Roach Speed just finishing up for RoachKing. Still living up to his name and his favoring of a Roach play. Warp Prism, though, gonna find its way over to the third, and no! It goes down. 4 Zealots and the Warp Prism in there. I've never really heard the Protoss scream behind that, but there's a definite Protoss cry of anguish as that went down. Maybe that's the sound effect for losing a lot of Zealots in a Warp Prism that I'm just not aware of. Ling's moving out. This is the aggression I was talking about earlier. Hopefully this is going to be enough to shut this down. Unfortunately, Army and quite a few sentries are here. Tons of Zerglings and Roaches here, so gonna need some good force field control here from Ukko in order to keep himself alive, but he's able to wedge himself in these great little corners, so he's not going to need to use too much force fields. Great spread of units here. Force fields keeping most of it back, but Ling's able to get through. I'd like to see this force move over into the natural. There's nothing guarding the natural right now as Lings find their way in. Army split up a bit here. Gonna take this opportunity to focus down the cybernetics core. More force fields going down. Sentries are all but out of energy, and now completely out of energy. No more force fields, so Roaches are going to find their way around, and a little bit out of position here for Ukko. A couple more force fields going down, but there are a lot of Roaches here. Immortals about to fall, getting focus fire down by the Roaches. More Warpins, 6 Zealots warping in here behind this. Observer is here, so Burrow not going to be effective at this time. However, RoachKing able to do a tremendous amount of damage here. Loss of cybernetics core there for Ukko. Third base stays up. Plenty of drones over here at the third. No damage to the economy, but quite a bit of damage to the army there of Ukko. Alright, roaches have tunneling claws now. Moving in. Zergling's trapped behind. I'd like to see these roaches pull back and let these Zerglings get a little bit further ahead. Zealot's taking a lot of fire here. And RoachKing opting once again for an attack on the natural. This time, Zerglings getting in. As Cube spoke of earlier, one pylon powering that wall, drops it. Photon overcharge goes down, but there are a lot of roaches and lings here. RoachKing picking away at these zealots, pushed back for the time being. All of this aggression is great, however, there is no fourth base down for RoachKing at the moment. I'd like to see him start macroing up a little bit behind this, just because eventually, even though it looks like Ukko is a bit on the ropes here, he is continuing with his warpins, continuing production. He has +2 weapons about a third of the way done, so once these upgrades complete and his production really kicks into high gear, more immortals queued up on the way, RoachKing is going to find himself unable to deal with this, using that great Burrow Micro to get away from these force fields, save those roaches' life. But Ukko, with so many gates behind this, is looking to push out here and be aggressive. So Blink Stalkers giving his armor a little bit of extra mobility. Force fields trying to trap these roaches, but not quite catching them. It's gonna force this roach push back. Meanwhile, 10 lings in production. Hydralisks will be on the way momentarily as Muscular Augments has started researching. Ukko moving out. He is 1-1 right now with +2, about to finish in maybe 30 more seconds. And RoachKing's going to be a little hard-pressed to deal with this without Hydras at the moment. Couple of Immortals here. Forward pylon getting warped in. Mothership core moving forward, just spotting where the army is. Good split on RoachKing's units. Going to be able to get a good concave here if Ukko chooses to move in from this pathway, but choosing to move in with a small force, that might be a misclick, but Time Warp's going down on 2 of RoachKing's roach groups there, and more Warpins behind this. So many Stalkers, Supply Advantage in Ukko's favor. +2 weapons is now finally completed, and this has just become a whole lot scarier. There are so many Stalkers here. RoachKing's got fair bit of army. He's just waiting to engage. Unfortunately, these reinforcements trickling in a little bit at a time, engaging from multiple angles. These roaches are completely boxed out by force field. Ukko pulling back. Half the army has fallen. The other half force fielded out. And RoachKing, without a fourth, is going to start finding it very difficult to deal with this super large gateway ball. This is just a tremendous amount of gateways back behind this. I would say probably 12. I'm not going to stop and count at the moment, but a lot of Warpins, so many Stalkers. This is just so much DPS. Gonna focus down this hatchery with relative ease. Not much this army can do. The numbers have dwindled. Still quite a few force fields in the bank here, and it's just going to be so difficult to engage this. So many Stalkers. Immortals picking away. Probably about the best angle RoachKing could have hoped for here. Will it be enough? More Warpins are always available for Ukko. But I just don't think there's enough here. These Blink Stalkers, great control there. Blinking back the injured Stalkers. Everything followed. RoachKing does not have a base behind this to support. Despite the early aggression, Ukko is able to hold on here, and with reinforcements, I think he's going to be able to clean this up. So many Stalkers being warped in behind this to reinforce. Ukko's got 30 Stalkers here to 9 Roaches and 10 Hydras. I just don't think this is going to be enough. Blinking back the injured Stalker is getting a great concave here. Not much RoachKing can do except just try and hold on. And there is the GG. Ukko takes game number 1.